Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Book Connections. We're happy to see you all again. So
Hello.
today we are going to share about. Oh, I think we're lagging a little bit. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the Deborah Harkness books. Just to preface, I've only read the first two, and Elaine has read all of them, but it has been quite a bit since we've read them. So I'm over here like looking at spoilers to look like help jog my memory. Um, and Elaine's read them pretty recently, so she could probably recall a lot more than I can. But
Yeah. That's all good.
but you read the extra ones beyond the three, right?
So yeah, I read the original trilogy when they first came out and was anticipating every single one as they came out. And then I randomly found that there's an extra book out. Actually, there's like a spin-off of Marcus's story and him and
Mm,
Phoebe, and then there is a continuation of when the twins are. I think they're like 7 years old, so it like
okay.
skips ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
cool.
it's called the Blackbird Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to make it to that point.
Mm-hmm.
When I finished the second book, I got really burnt out because they're so description heavy
Correct.
and have like so much scene building that I was just like, by the time I finished it. So I had
Mm-hmm.
to kind of switch gears. And then I also started some classes and other stuff. So I've been like reading all of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
reading it, it's still a super fun adventure, like even description heavy. It's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like that after effect when I finally finish it and it's like, oh, rest.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're definitely because I even think because I listened to them on Audible, I think they're like pretty hefty 40-hour books or like 30
Yeah.
something hour books. So yeah, they are very descriptive. Whew, cannot talk. And it's kind of almost like a poetry in a way because she gets very flowery and eloquent in her imagery, and there's a lot of history. So
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of history that gets brought up, which is kind of the cool part, especially when she does reference real things
hmm
like the 16th century London and just everything happening at that time. It was really cool to see that so intricately woven into the story. And
hmm
um, we probably will share some spoilers. So just to warn everybody who listens.
Yeah, spoilers.
Hmm. Yeah. One of my favorite things about so in the first book, they get together, like they meet, they
hmm
finally become a couple. They start to like travel back in time, like right at the end of it, to
hmm
outrun the I can't even remember the name of the group right now, but like the society that rules over all the
Yeah, the
magical
Covenant.
creatures. Yes,
hmm
yeah. So they're outrunning them. And in the second book, I've enjoyed this one so much more. I really loved her magic in the first book. I
hmm
loved the things that she did, like when she was in the woods, and like the arrows that she would shoot and
hmm
all of that. I thought that was really cool. In the second one, I love that I mean, they both get to see his dad because they traveled back in time.
hmm
And then she gets to meet her dad too. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I do like that aspect, and I also understand like when she's trying to hold on to him, and he's kind of like, "I gotta go because I know what's happening, and we
Mhm.
can't just interrupt stuff." So yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Mhm. I know. That made me feel for her, because she's just misses her parents so much.
Yeah.
And I thought that was also kind of cool that it's something both her and Matthew can relate on,
hmm
is missing the father figure at least. So that was really nice too for them to
Yeah.
get to see each other's fathers like that.
and to get to know each other, or vice versa, like, because that's like one thing is, um, being able to make that familial connection, and have that bond a little solidified. I would say like they're in that Black Book Oracle, which might be spoilers for you.
That's
There's
okay.
ties to that and like family secrets coming up. So I feel like
Oh,
but Diana Bishop's family secrets, not all the Matthews secrets, because I feel like those kind of got aired out, which was like he was just, very stuck in keeping secrets because that's what he's a spy master essentially, but
right.
and couldn't even let his own wife know all the things, so that always caused problems for them
Mm,
and their relationship.
yeah. That was the one thing that drove me a little crazy was that it kept coming up as an issue. So I'm like,
Mhm.
damn it, Matthew, just lay it all out there and be done with
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think part of that is like his tortured soul type
Yep.
where he's like, if you truly know me, you'll hate me type thing. But I do appreciate in the book that, or on all of the books, that their relationship actually deepens the more shadow work they do, so to speak. The more
Right.
that they express their darkness, or like those hidden, I'll say hidden treasures that are within all of us that really are our core, and for good or bad, they are things that we usually use to get through our lives, and it's like they were able to bond with those, and I feel like the more they became who they truly are, the stronger they became, and then the better couple they became.
Yep. Yeah. I do like that too. I love that he does a lot of character growth because
Mhm.
I think he finally realizes like he can't get through the rest of his life without her, but
Mhm.
also like just being open and honest about everything. And
Mhm.
so that was really nice to see him start to open up in that way. And
Mhm.
it even kind of like reminds you that you need to also do the same thing. Like you have to be so openly honest, not just with everybody else in your life and the people that you care about, but also yourself too. Because I
Yeah.
think there were quite a few things that he even kind of lied to himself about and like would
Mhm.
refuse to believe, even though he logically knew that it was the right thing. So it's it's um it's a very strong point of the book for sure. I think just that underlying plot
Yeah.
of he's having to uncover all of these lies.
Yeah. And also like he has a disease, like his blood, they go into it further in the third book, but that's also that genetic coding, because he's a geneticist,
Mm-hmm.
also allows him to have this relationship with, not relationship with Diana, but to be able to father children with Diana, because they're basically
Yeah,
like a offshoot of, like, she's an offshoot of genetically from witches, and he's an offshoot from vampires that allow them to procreate and have children, you know.
right. Yeah, yeah. I was excited to see because they set it up in the first book talking about oh, can vampires and witches have babies? So I was
Hmm.
like, oh, I just know they're gonna make it possible in this one. And then they did.
Yeah.
So I was like, yep,
Yeah.
there it is. So if
But
your pregnancy trope is not your favorite, you probably won't like the rest of the series.
yeah, true. um I, yeah, I always have mixed feelings about that trope of like, and this is not possible, and then it is possible, but then
Me too.
I also like to be optimistic and hopeful, so I totally get it. So where it's like, but I do think they do have a good setup of like, because basically both of their bloodlines are hunted or like
Mm,
brought to um like almost ended because of these issues, like his blood rage and then her being a weaver. Um
yeah,
and that basically this is what the covenant does, controls them. Kind of
yeah,
sounds like our government at the moment.
yep, yeah,
But and to basically keep everyone separate, everyone away from each other so they can be controlled,
mm-hmm,
and so that, you don't really get a lot of all of the answers, and I think that's what the next set of books is going to be, and also fleshing out Diana Bishop's secrets, because they start
yeah,
getting into her father's family, and like in that Blackbird Oracle book. And I just like, I feel like the underlining um thing that they always go back to is family and taking care of yourself, taking care of each other, and having
mm-hmm,
that bond and being able to express yourself with family.
yeah, yeah. Especially like her relationship with her aunts is
Mhm.
so huge. It plays a pivotal role in both
Mhm.
the first book and then this one. And so it's been really nice to see like just how, and then his mom too, Matthew's mom comes to terms with her and liking her and her position in the family. So
Mhm.
it's nice to see that reminder of like just how much family and chosen family at that can help
Mhm.
you out in life. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
would love to learn more about her family because I know in this one, well, in the last one, there was so much secrecy around her dad and saying
Mhm.
like that he was just wildly powerful and they have no idea what family he was even part of because
Yeah.
there's just no records of him. And
Yeah.
so I would love to know more about him and his
Yeah.
family. Mhm.
So they definitely opened that up in the Blackbird Oracle, because it definitely big spoilers. They bring in his family
Oh,
basically,
good.
and she gets to know them, and she's not so much, because Diana is kind of like a bullheaded and very strong.
Yep.
And so they basically like don't give her a choice, and are like, it's time for the kids to come to us. And she was like, my dad didn't have any family. So that's always what her understanding is. And then she kind of realizes that she's been lied to. There is a whole other family and she hasn't been a part of it. And so then that's when like Bishop secrets start coming out of like, well, we hid this, or and her aunt is pretty much the focal point at that, because now her aunt is the only one alive on the Bishop side. So
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. That's the only thing that frustrates me is that like um I would love for her aunt to be more open and honest,
yeah.
especially after seeing how much she suffered. Like with the loss of
Mm-hmm.
her parents, I feel like she really deserved much more honesty. And like, because in the first book, Diana pretty much wanted nothing to do with magic at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would not
Yeah.
train in it, would not study it, nothing. And then she had to really start teaching herself from scratch. And then in this one, her dad was able to help teach her quite a bit. And then it just like I feel like if her aunt were more honest and connected her to more people, she could have advanced in such a beautiful way. But yeah, I think that's one thing that I would change is to for her to have some kind of connection earlier on in the books.
Yeah. But I think they also build that because it's kind of like a conditioning of,
Mm,
sorry, if you heard the
you're okay.
dog.
No, I don't hear
Um,
him.
the conditioning, or even societal conditioning of like, this is what a woman should look like. And so in
Oh yeah,
her case, this is what a witch should look like, but she's not just a witch, she's a weaver,
yeah,
and so her
yeah,
magic is different as well. And there's also, family trauma, family secrets, and it's all to me like a very deep dive into um shadow work and like family secrets and why we perpetuate certain things because we think it keeps us safe, but really when it all comes out, does it tear you apart or make you better, and it's just like that battle and where she wants or where they want to go because ultimately they are together and now building a family or going forward with
Yeah.
their lives.
Mhm. And the is it the third one that they find the Ashmole
Correct.
782?
So
Yeah.
she like there's like a bunch of Matthew gets captured and all kinds of stuff happens and they finally she finally is like fuck it, I'm getting the book and gets it.
Good. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. She's like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I'm excited is to like see her actually get her hands on it and what how much it
Mhm.
helps her. So
Mhm.
that's what I hope for. So
Yeah.
that makes me look forward to like when I read the next one, I'll be able to read that part. But yeah.
Yeah. And with this is kind of a spoiler too, but it is the book is actually made out of demons because there's demons and then
Mm-hmm.
there's witches and then there's the vampires. So they realized like basically it's all body parts. It's like a book of like
Yep.
of DNA. And so Matthew's kind of excited about that too because he could do his research, but it's also kind of horrifying because that was
Yeah.
literally a person,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. That is horrific. Yeah. Um, that's why I'm like, I don't know, because I've seen bits and pieces of the show just
Mhm.
through social media, people like posting clips and stuff. And so that's where I'm like, I'm trying to piece everything of like, okay, this was from the show, this was from the book. Which book was this from?
Yeah, and it's also it gets especially if you take a break between the books, but they're also too dense to
Mm-hmm.
consume all at once that they're like, ah. So
Yeah.
like your brain starts also maybe making fillers for stuff. Because I think that's what happened too, is I started watching the show and I was like, I remember this.
Yeah, yeah, that happens to me too. Yeah, and then I also like if it's a really long book, sometimes it'll take me a whole month to finish
Mhm.
because if I borrow it from the library, I only get a couple weeks with it. And
Mhm.
then if I have the book, great, but I have so many other things I have to do. It's hard for me to sit with a physical book.
Mhm.
So that's the only downside is like some of these I wish they were on Kindle because then I could breeze through it really easy in a few days.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a beautiful book, very lovely, but very dense. And I would not, I don't know. Do you feel like it was like an emotional roller coaster?
um,
I don't think so much. Like,
kind of in terms of like around like the dad's leaving, I think so.
mm,
Other than that, there was just kind of that like irritation of like, okay, I'm irritated that this isn't going right. And then,
yeah,
oh, it's okay. And then and then no, and then so it's kind of like that back and forth with like minor
mm-hmm,
emotional investment. But yeah, definitely around both dads. I feel like
yeah,
there was quite a bit. And
yeah,
then in the first one, um, maybe around them having to leave, but other than that, I felt like the first one, I wasn't super like worn out emotionally.
yeah. So I don't know. I guess I didn't feel too emotional. I do get the aspects of the family and like those ups and downs, and there are a few deaths that are like, oh shit, and then when Diana gets tortured. But I didn't feel because like Outlander, I felt like I was emotionally invested in these people's lives and
Yeah.
like was going up and down or like, oh, I can't read any more of this.
Yeah.
um, but I also felt like I don't know, maybe it felt emotionally removed for me because it also felt a little tied to history because I mean she
Mm-hmm.
is a history major or like researcher and like everything is put filtered through that aspect, so maybe that's I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can see that. Um, that's why I was like, even with the dad stuff, like I didn't cry or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like it wasn't heavy for me. I could see it being maybe heavier for someone who's lost a dad.
Yeah.
Um, it may be more emotional for them. But yeah, I think there's this kind of I think the story moves so quick and like they're just constantly trying to work towards this one goal that you don't really
Yeah.
have time to get super invested is
True.
how it feels. Um so that's the hard part. Um Good for me cuz like if it's super emotionally taxing,
Draining. Yeah.
yeah, it's like sucks the life out of me and then I
Yeah.
can't read any book at all for
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. No, for sure. I get that. I was trying to, because I'm like, I was trying to think of, was there another aspect of the emotions that I like, maybe just because it's been a few months that I'm like not so invested in right now, or I feel removed.
Mhm.
Um, it definitely for me felt like lessons from the universe or like little nudges from the universe of like listening to yourself and
Yeah.
trusting and following your intuition. And maybe that's why I don't want to say that it didn't feel emotional, but I just felt like there were things that were just like, well, it's safe, or it's this is a message. And like I think that's kind of also what I picked up a lot about. And also like having to being in the process of developing or even being spiritual, I just felt like there was little nudges of like, yeah, you're on the right path, or stuff like that. And I don't know if
Yeah.
I was reading too into it, or I it was just like a
No, no.
struggling time for me.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely agree, especially like the Weaver stuff that directly
Mhm.
ties into the spiritual things that I do. So I feel like I get quite a lot of spiritual messages through reading the books. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, I get it. And then I have to go like do my stuff and then come back to it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was a
Um,
cool nudge.
mhm. I don't know if she's written any other books. Deborah Harkness, have you
You
looked
know,
and seen?
all I when I looked, I found those other books and I was like, "Hey, I didn't even know."
Right? Yeah.
So, uh, obviously we do our research very thoroughly here.
Yes. It's book club. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, it looks like that's pretty much it. It's just that series. So,
Well, I
um,
mean, it's a dense series in general, so
it's yeah, she's put a lot of work into these books. Like just the historical research
yeah.
alone
Yeah.
is like a lifetime's worth of research that she incorporated in like one book. So for all three plus the extra two is a lot of work.
Yeah. Because even I don't know if I would assume after the Blackbird Oracle, another book is coming out, and that one was published in 2024.
Okay, yeah,
That she will have another book coming out, because that definitely does not wrap up the series in any way.
right.
Um it more kind of brings in a new layer of danger, and her
Okay.
needing to know about her father's side. Um and like she had a position on the covenant and stuff like that. That's kind of like their get around of because she's a de Claremont, that they actually set her on the covenant council,
Oh, yeah.
and they can't remove her because she is his daughter, or his blood daughter, or however he adopted her.
Mhm.
So that's one of the go arounds. But then in that Blackbird Oracle book, she basically now has enemies, so like,
Yeah.
and they want her children because they're her children are half witch, half weaver, half or like weaver and vampire, and now they're prizes, you know. So it's a whole
Yeah.
other a layer of what you're gonna do, Diana Bishop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think she's definitely going to have to come out with another book, possibly another two. But yeah, I could
Hmm.
easily see it having to be released in like 2026 or 27 with how much
Yeah.
she puts into her
Oh
books.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember because I think when the other books came out, it was like a couple years between them as well.
Mhm.
Like they weren't back to back books, which I do love back to back books.
Mhm.
Oh, 2011, 2012, and 2014. So 1 year and then 2 years.
Mhm. Yeah. I
So.
kind of want to watch the rest of the show. Like I know it'll spoil the rest of the series for me, which I'm fine. Like I don't
Yeah.
care about spoilers at all. They don't bother me. Because it's like I want to know what happens. I want to
Yeah.
see more, but I can't go through the labor of reading it just yet. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I need something to help like get me the information.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Sometimes
totally
I
get
have
that.
friends who like read like a really big book, and I'm like, go ahead and spoil it for me. Share everything. Tell me all about it so I don't have to read it. So is there anything that you are reading right now or like have read between last podcast and this one that you like really stands out to you, I guess?
Oh my God, I've read so much.
Have you?
Remember? Yeah. I am definitely on a fairy kick. I did the whole October Day series, and I think I pre-ordered the next book that is not out until like late summer, maybe even fall. And
Mhm.
then um I did start the fourth. I don't know if you've heard of this series, The Fourth Wing, the one with
I've
the dragons and the
uh-huh. I've read the
I
first one.
okay, maybe we'll start our next book club on that one. I have mixed emotions about it, but I did get vested and continued the books, and now I'm like, now I need to have answers.
Yes. I hate
And
that. Sometimes it's like if it's not a great book, but you just push through it and then you get to a point where you're like, damn it, now I gotta read the rest of
yeah,
it.
yeah, because okay, maybe we'll talk about that one. And then right now, what else did I read? I'm reading a vampire book called Tethered. Have you heard of that one?
I've heard the name. Yeah. Let me go
Okay,
add that to my list actually.
so that one I have mixed. I'm a little mixed on this one too, but I it's not like so bad that I'm like I can't finish this book because there's definitely those ones that have
Mhm.
come up. Um, but the basically it's an arranged marriage between a human and a
Mhm.
vampire, and
Mhm.
then they're forced into like not only the marriage but like a vampire tradition of bonding
Mhm.
or binding. Actually, it's binding. And so the Prince of Vampires is like, oh, fine, I'll do it because my mom's gonna kill me. And then it
That might piss
happens.
me off.
And then but the priest that bind bound them um like did an extra level from the gods, and so then they're now tethered, and
Mhm.
he's just like what the fuck, and she's what the fuck, and trying to figure it out. And so of course they're going to fall in love. I do anticipate that.
Right. Yeah. They
But
have to at this point,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah. And then I also enjoyed my Pirate Alba new release, the Garden Sanctuary of the Wandering Inn series.
Mhm.
um I love those books. So I
I
just
haven't heard of this. Let me add
really, The
that too.
Wandering Inn. Yeah.
Mhm.
That one is like it's kind she gets summoned to another world with a transporting a spell. So she's like
Mm-hmm.
brought into this new world, and then there's like drakes and dragons, and it's kind of like fantasy video game-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Solstice is trying to figure out her life, and like obviously she doesn't know how to go back home.
Yeah.
And then she starts to discover like there's more earthers, so people from earth.
Okay.
But
Mm-hmm.
this, like, there's magic, and it's a very dangerous world because it's also kind of archaic but
Mm-hmm.
advanced in a way that, technology advanced us because, our lives became simpler because of that.
Right.
Whereas in this world, magic is where they advanced, and so
Mm-hmm.
there's ways that they are more advanced, but they aren't advanced because they're still in like archaic, because they didn't have to figure out how to make cars.
Right.
People have magic, they can fly, so stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It is a epic series with there's a lot of POVs, and they switch stories,
I like
but
that.
so you don't always stick with the same character.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely building, and you can see like the web coming in of like, well, this area is now connected to this area because of this and this and this. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I love those books. Every time
Yeah.
it comes out, I swoop in and get it.
Yes, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to read
Yeah.
that because that's kind of like I know I suggested it before, the Anchor and Aspect series,
Hmm.
was these like modern, everyday living women get transported back to this like other world that's kind of like archaic, medieval almost,
Hmm.
and like there's magic and other things, and so they have to make do with all of that, and so that reminds me of that. So I think I would like it a lot, especially like switching the point of views. I
Hmm.
really like switching point of views because it keeps my ADHD happy because I'm like, ooh, something new and shiny. And so I
Yeah.
stay invested in it a little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely, they do good on character building and world building. I would
Mm-hmm.
say they lack in romance, so it's not like if there's any sort of romance, you probably, if you're interested in that, you probably won't get it here.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of drama and a lot of like um social skills at use in society, and just how some things are not fair, or there's racism, but it's really speciesism because they're all
Mm-hmm.
different species and stuff like that
Yeah.
too. And so there's a lot there. Um, so far, no love though. Or
Yeah.
like, well, that's not fair. There is like care and love, but it's not a romance series at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's usually when I read those, if I have a hankering for romance, I'll just like pause and go read a short like
Yeah.
100 page like nothing but smut and then jump back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little
Yeah.
palate cleanser almost.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I forgot, I also read Quicksilver, which I think is another hot book that is out. Have you heard of that one?
I tried. I made it
Okay.
to like 30% through and then I was like, I can't do it, man.
Okay. Okay, so I got it on Libby, on the library app, and I sped it up.
Did you, if I could get the audiobook, I would like two times speed it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like what, I would say halfway it starts to get a little better. So
Okay.
okay. So um but
Maybe I will
yes.
try and I'll see
Uh
if I can get a hold of the audiobook then and
yeah.
start
So
halfway
try
through.
that. That is a that's a Elaine
I
tip
know,
for
yeah, because
today.
I love fairy books. And usually I can push through them, but like just the first half of that one was dragging so hard and um Crescent City did that too.
Uh-huh.
And then like the whole second half of Crescent City was great, but
Mm-hmm.
it was so emotionally draining that I could not do it again. So it was like war flashbacks trying
Yeah.
to read this book. Yeah.
So I think why it felt like that is because she's a kind of a little whiny and does a lot of dumb
Yes.
shit. And
Yeah,
and then
that was really annoying me.
and then I don't want to say she becomes a badass, but like
Okay.
eventually like she realizes the dumb shit that she did and
Okay.
kind of starts to course correct.
That
So
I think, yeah, I can get back into it then because I think that that was the main reason why I gave it up was I was just like, I cannot read this many pages of
yeah.
this one woman because she's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah. I it did I probably will not buy the book. I will probably
No.
get the second book from the library again if
Yeah.
I remember. And then what was weird is like then all of a sudden vampires were so I so I think that so terrible. I think that was my other problem is the world building.
Yeah.
It was kind of like not existent.
Mhm.
And I get that there's sometimes where you build the world as the character goes. Um but it there wasn't really anything there. And
Right.
there was like stop and go type of things where some things were taking a little longer and then all of a sudden it was like fast forward. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why listening at a faster speed was helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because sometimes I'll just like, um, oh, what is that series? The Gilded series? Oh god, what is it called? Gilded. The Gilded Prisoner series. Um, that one I was not a fan of, but I did like I scrolled through to like each chapter and I would look at like a page in the middle and a page at the end to get the gist of it and
Mhm,
then I would do
mhm,
that to the
mhm.
next one. So I did that for like all 3 books just so I could be nosy and know what happened. But for the most part I couldn't stand to read it. So that's my like there's my hack for getting through the Kindle at least.
Just skip to the end of the page and read.
Yeah.
Um, and the love story there was kind of lame.
Is it? Yeah, I've heard so many people, like, go on and on about how hot he is and, like, how wonderful he is, and but to know that, like, there's a lame story
I
between
mean,
the 2 of them makes me a little sad.
well, it's also kind of like it's that trope of I won't don't even want to say enemies to lovers because it's more like I hate you to oh I can't get enough of you now and I've
Mhm.
tried not to like you, but also it's like I mean he does nice things for her, but even her relationship building, it was just that she was attracted to him. You know,
Yeah,
there
she
was
just kept talking about how good looking he was.
yeah, so it's just kind of like,
It's, like,
huh?
surface level.
And then it's like another one of those we were fated, we're mates, you know, we're
Mhm, mhm,
type the gods have bound us together.
mhm.
So I don't know. That I think that was my other
Yeah.
problem.
That's one thing I struggle with is, like, especially if the female main character is just awful and whiny and annoying to read.
Mm-hmm.
But I struggle so hard with books where she's basically this nobody who knows nothing and has no training, and then she's suddenly like the most powerful person and she
Mm-hmm.
suddenly knows how to do this and she can do
Mm-hmm.
that and she can defeat this and create this and it's just like where was the story like between the
Yeah.
beginning and that point like
Yeah. She definitely doesn't become she's kind of like a missing piece in their society and they don't
mm,
even explain that until like really halfway through the book.
yeah
And
yeah because she can manipulate the quicksilver stuff
so
right
basic yes, and so basically she's also an alchemist
mm-hmm,
and or has the ability to become an alchemist or the magic to become an alchemist,
mm,
but they've been killing off all the alchemists for a reason.
yeah
So then, like, you don't really know that. And she's not told that until like halfway through, but she's told to basically figure it out, you know? And it's like, I wouldn't appreciate that. Like, fucking
Right,
train
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But they do give her a back history of being like a metal smith or a
Yes, yeah.
blacksmith of something like that. So that, I mean, that is good. But then it's like, and now you have magic. Figure shit out.
Yep, yeah. Mhm. Good.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like what happened to Diana. And just like
Yeah.
no training at all. And then
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, actually you have this really powerful magic. You're going to have to figure it out."
Yeah. And no one else can teach you, you know? So it's like, what?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Right now I'm reading Phantasma, and that one's it's really interesting. It's about this necromancer who her family has they've all been necromancers. It's a family business. It's set in New Orleans, I'm pretty sure. And the devils come to town sometimes and host this competition. And so she enters this competition because she's trying to get her sister to get out of it. And um she's going to try to win the prize to help save her family home. And she meets this phantom who's there. He's not in the competition, but he's there like tied to the house, so he travels with the house.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to help him find some things that will help him be free. And they're kind of starting to fall in love a little bit where I'm at, so I'm still reading it. And I did go ahead and like spoil it for myself and looked at
Oh.
the rest of the book because I was like, I need to know what happens. Um, and I'm impatient, so I went and looked at it, and it is a really cute storyline.
Mm-hmm.
She does help him. Um, I don't know if I don't want to spoil it for you or others, so I don't want to share too much more, but she does help him, and
Okay.
it leads to something really cute and cool, and it's a great happy ending. Um, so it is a supposed to be a really good book, I think, and I have seen it all
Okay.
over Book Talk. So
Okay.
yeah, I
Well,
think it's
I get that. That's kind of how I got into reading Fourth Wing and
yeah.
Quicksilver. I was like, I'll give it a whirl.
Hmm.
But I'll check that one out.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think oh, what was it that draw it drew me to it? I think it somebody described it as like, what if Danny Phantom
Oh God,
um
Danny
it
Phantom.
was like a bromance with Danny Phantom, and I was like, sold. So that's what sold me on it. So I was like, yes, absolutely, sign me up. I'll
Yeah.
read it right now. So I'm reading that, and then I'm reading Paid with a Kiss by Morgan Daimler. They are a really well known in real life fairy scholar, is what I would call
Hmm.
them. They are pretty much an expert when it comes to the fair folk. They do a lot of research all the time. And so, Paid with a Kiss is actually a compilation of research and opinion on relationships with the Fae and
Hmm.
like marriages and sex and romance and how that kind of like works with them and us and like ties back to like different stories and examples of it and poetry and stuff. So it's been really interesting reading that. Morgan does actually have their own fiction series where they
Okay.
do write it with the knowledge of like today's world to
Hmm.
help support that. Um, I haven't read it yet. I've only read their nonfiction books,
Hmm.
so I don't know how they are, but I am reading the Paid with the Kiss right now. And then,
That sounds interesting.
mhm. And then, oh God, there was one that I just read. And I'm trying so hard to remember what it is. I'm gonna have to go look at my story graph. I've been reading a lot of like books on acting
Hmm.
actually because it ties into something new that I'm working on. So I've been reading a lot of
Hmm.
those and trying to get through some of those. Um, and then oh my gosh, this app is so hard to use. I use Storygraph to keep track of all my books that I've read um, to help me be able to figure out
if you
Like
read it
how
before or not.
yeah, if I've read it before, because I can't remember. I will
Yeah,
totally start something again and be like, "Oh, oh
this sounds
yeah,
familiar. Oh,
uh-huh.
I've done that.
Oh yeah." They're showing me one, The God of the Woods, and saying it's a popular one this week. And I have heard that, so I do need to check that out. It's gonna take me a bit to scroll through and find, because it's like I can't find where I'm trying to like read. See, okay, here we go. Um, I know I read something, but I have this feeling that I didn't actually record it. Yeah, I never put it in there, so who knows what I read. Um, but one that I am excited for is Navessa Allen just released her second book. I think it's called Caught Up. And I've already read Lights Out. I did the audiobook because I heard it was so much better than the regular book. And it is. It was fantastic. It was hilarious. Surprisingly, for a stalker romance, it was a really funny book. It made me laugh a lot, so I enjoyed it. But I am excited to check out the second one. So I'm gonna read that one. And then um another one that I have on my to read list is Shield of Sparrows, because I've heard that that's really popular right now, and Death's Obsession, which is a romance between a person and the Grim Reaper, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love to read weird books.
Oh, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they have a romance in them or some sort of love story.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, now I have to remember. There was for some reason, I haven't heard of those, so I'll have to check them out. But I started thinking about another book that I read a while ago. Now I'm gonna have to look it up because it's another magical love story, and I think her name is Rin in the book, and she can't speak, and then she gets taken by the prince. I'm gonna have to look it up. Sorry,
Ah, that
guys,
sounds familiar, and it sounds like one I really wanted to read.
because it's it's the sparrow that is throwing me off because
Mm.
she's always referred to as a little bird,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I can't remember, but it is a good book, and it's kind of like a trilogy. I can't remember now. It's either Songbird, Sparrow, Wren. I'll have to look it up, but that one's a pretty good book too. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't read it in a while. When
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
find
would
it, I'll
love to.
send it to you.
Yeah, I would love to know because that sounds good. I love to read books where the main characters have like either a chronic illness or a disability or something that just makes them so much more relatable. Excuse me, I love to read those. Yeah. Um, I really want to read The Shield of Sparrows, partly only I don't know anything about it. I've been able to steer away from every single spoiler. The only thing I know is that it's super popular right now. But when I cracked that bad boy open on Kindle, it was 666 pages. And I was like, I appreciate the number, but that is a lot of book. So I have not read it yet. It's just been sitting there for a week and a half. Um, so that's the only downside is a big book. Even
Yeah,
for an ebook, that's a lot of pages.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It has a good rating. Um,
It does, yeah.
Audio, it says it's almost 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. Is
maybe that
rated
will.
really, really well. And I know nothing about it, have not even read the synopsis or anything. I'm gonna go in totally blind. And that's the bad thing about me is I don't even read the trigger warnings on some books. So then I just like jump in head first, and just let it all hit me. So it probably would help me if I prepared myself a little bit, but
Hmm.
and I'm living for the adventure and the thrill, I think.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't always read the synopsis. Sometimes I start a book and I don't even know what it's about, and I'm like, but sometimes even like pages into this, I'm like, I need to go back and look at the synopsis and see what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
it's just like either one that I'm drawn to, or like I keep like it keeps getting pushed in my algorithm. I don't know, because that's kind
Yep.
of what happened with Fourth Wing. I was like, what is this? And then I heard that it had dragons in it, and I was like, I'll try. So,
Yep. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so
The Fourth Wing, I read most of the first one. I thought I finished it, but I think I didn't finish the last like 30%.
mhm,
Because I remember I had to cancel my subscription at that time, so that's when I
mhm.
lost it. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can't hear my stomach like growling.
It's okay.
Sometimes it's just like randomly super loud. Um,
No, I can't hear you, but hopefully you don't hear my dogs. They're kind of like, it's
I
food time.
I never their stomach. Maybe my stomach's picking up on their stomachs.
That's why they keep trying to jump in my lap. They're like, oh,
They're
just a
like,
little
hey,
longer.
yeah.
Just a little longer.
They're desperate. They're like, come on, please finish. Yeah. So I do need to finish that actually. I'm just nervous because one friend read the second book and said it bombed compared to the first one. They did not like it as much as the first one. But then I know other people who did read it and they really loved it. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to find out for myself.
So
Um,
I wouldn't say that I think it got better, but there's like this
okay.
perspective that you need. Because I don't know. It's they're young. They're like 20, 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you also have to think of all the dumb stuff that you dealt with at 2023. And I kept just thinking like, oh, it's like they're in college. So
Yes. Yeah.
so that's the mind frame I had to keep going back to, because it's like, okay, this is a 2023-year-old, 20 something,
Yeah.
early 20s
Mm-hmm.
book. And I think even, no, I think most of them are like 21 or so, because I think that's when they can apply to the academy. But it's like,
Yeah.
so I do think it gets better, but it is a little rough, the first book.
Yeah. There was one series. What was it reading? It was oh gosh. It's this like vampire one. It's a really popular book. God, what's the name of it? Hold on. Um, but it's like takes place in a college, and the boys that are supposed to be romancing the female main character are so immature, and I
Are
just
just
like,
boys, and it's like,
yeah,
no.
I just
Been there,
can't.
done that,
Yeah,
goodbye.
yeah, they're like
Yeah,
frat
yeah,
boys through and through, but like even worse. And so trying to read it, I was like, I can't do it.
yeah,
It's too
yeah,
hard for me. There's not enough if there's enough like magic and adventure, I can push through it. But this like them just being at college and like that's their entire life is they're at college
yeah.
and they're behaving like that. No, I can't do
I
it.
There is a little more to the fourth wing, so I do think that also kind of keeps you going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but it is that age and
Yeah.
mentality,
Yeah, the
So
immaturity.
so you do have to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I really want to start reading more books. Excuse me, that are have like older main characters. I would
Mm-hmm.
love to read more characters like in their 30s or
Mm-hmm.
40s and to start
Yeah.
reading those. I think I would enjoy that a lot. I do know I have some saved, but I don't remember the titles, and I would have to read the about for each one to figure out which ones
Yeah.
they are. Um, there was one book series that I read, or no, one book. I don't remember if I talked about it on here. I want to say I did, but I read it and I think I did, and it pissed me off so much. It was a like fairy book,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." Oh yeah, I think it's Does It Hurt? Yeah, no, that's not it. That's something different. Um, oh god, I have to remember it, but it has like the cover is like a Luna moth with like eyes, I think. Um, so I'll have to remember what the name is. Some if anybody watches this, I'm sure they'll be like, "Yeah, I know exactly which one it is. It's really
Just
popular."
comment below.
Yeah, feel free to comment it. It's really
Let us
popular,
know.
but the entire time you like when you get to the end, I DNF'd it at like 94% because I was so mad because like the entire time the female main character is just like making things really difficult.
Hmm.
And then or no, she's not. Like it's just the society is difficult. But you do find out that the entire time she was lying even to you, the reader.
Hmm.
And so it's this huge plot twist, which everybody loved. But I was so mad because it was like I was really picturing myself as this person. So then to
Hmm.
have her be like, by the way, I've been lying the whole time, I was like, damn it. So that sucked so much because I loved the love interest on that one, and I can't bring myself to read the second
Read
one
it
because,
again.
yeah,
I've had that where I've like went through the book, and I get it. There are times where the main character, because even in my life, there's times where I'm a little more whiny than I need to be and just need to buckle up and do what I need to. But I also want to cry about it,
yep,
or
yeah,
avoid it. But there also needs to be that growth for me or for that character development.
yeah,
And I don't know. Maybe I'm just also kind of like, but I've stopped books like that where I'm like, and it continues. I'm
yeah.
not doing this.
Me too.
I've invested so much time, and at this point, they just all died. That's what in my book. This-
That's the best case scenario
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
So I'll just like,
Yeah.
so totally
This
get
one
it.
was called How Does It Feel? And it's the Infatuated Fae series. So that's why I was like, ooh, that sounds amazing. Love
Yeah.
fairies, love
Yeah.
infatuation, happy to take it on. Yeah, and then like the major plot twist killed me. And I was like, damn it. I can't
Yeah.
now I can't read the second one, and it's not even my fault.
Well, I'll avoid that one. So
Yeah, a lot of people love it though. They love the
yeah.
twist. So, and it is a really, really popular book. It has really good ratings. So, I do know that a lot of people enjoyed it. I think I just have some weird, I don't know, probably trauma locked away somewhere deep inside where I'm like, I've been lied to the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
I totally get that.
Mhm. Um, I felt like there was something that I was like, I needed to look up and then I was going to do it and I completely forgot what it was. So I'm just
Well, it's
sitting here,
fine.
but that's okay. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more books. I'm going to try to read some more. Um, and I almost got a Kindle, but then I was like, I have my phone with me everywhere, and
Mhm.
I am not carrying two different devices in my pockets.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to stick with my phone. But now that I'm back on the Kindle app, I've just been like bulldozing through a lot of books.
Yeah.
So, um, but a lot of them are just like on, like I said, on acting and voice work and figuring out your voice
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So some not super interesting books. Um, but I'm kind of itching for
Mhm.
more fairies. So I'm like, I gotta go find something quick.
I think you would like that October Day book series.
Yeah, I didn't
I
think it was on Kindle Unlimited, was why I haven't. Oh, I haven't checked
Oh,
the library though.
no, they should have it at the library.
Mm, let me check. October Day.
Yeah. Day has a E at the end, so it's
Oh, okay.
DA. Yeah. Um Shauna McGuire, I think is the author.
Okay. That'd probably be easier to find it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because she does the other books. I haven't gotten into those. I know there's like a cryptic file or something, and then a lot of it is like a detective or like whodunit type of mysteries. Because even October, she's basically like she's a PI, but for fairies, for a
Yeah.
fairy.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and
I
then
think I would like that.
she becomes she's a knight of the kingdom. So,
Okay.
and I don't remember if one of her titles is a protector of the realm or something like that, but yeah, she gets different titles, and she is half human.
Hmm. Ah, there was another good series I read where she was a half human, half fae. I can't remember what it is, but it was really good too. Which I love those. I love to read like people who are half and half because
Mm-hmm.
it just I don't know, there's something about it that I really love. Um, I have been reading or not reading, watching a lot of anime lately. And so
Okay.
I just started watching Frieren and
Okay. I haven't watched that, but yeah.
it's so good. I'm obsessed with it. I think you would really like it. It's like
Uh-huh.
epic high adventure, basically like Lord of the Rings, but as an anime.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and
I'll get into it. I'll
yeah,
watch it.
I think you'll like it. I just like powered through every episode that I could find, and now I have to get a Crunchyroll subscription so I can
Yeah.
watch the rest.
Because I was gonna start what was it, the Apothecary Diaries?
I
But
watched all of season one.
okay, I haven't yet. I For some reason I'm going off.
It's
This is
so
like
good.
your acting books. I started doing Project Runway, like I'm watching the old series.
Yeah,
um, but I don't know, there's something about the creativity and the drama of it that
yeah,
I've been like really into it and just like creating. So
yeah,
uh
me
because
too.
also part of me, I read the fourth ring, I read that Quicksilver, and I was like, I can write a better than this. And I don't know where that came from.
Yeah,
And so then I started also thinking about books that I could write, and so I've been a little all over the place. So,
I know. Yeah, I planned out an outline for a book that I really wanted to write, and then it came time to actually writing the words. And that's where I'm still at.
still,
I haven't
yeah,
even started. I'm
yeah.
like, I have no idea what to say.
No, it's definitely way harder than what I
It
was.
is.
Yeah. But I don't know, for some reason I started getting into that kick of like, you know what? I think I could start like developing characters in a plot line
Yeah,
and see where it goes.
yeah,
Um,
do
we'll
it.
see.
We need your story. I need your story. I'm like trying to convince one of my friends who writes books. I'm like, finish your book, publish it, because I need to read the rest of it because I've read everything that she's
Yeah.
written so far, and it's really good. It's a historical romance, um, and so I'm like, I need you to put a fire under your rump and get this thing pumped out so I can
Yeah.
have the whole thing
Yeah.
because I'm like needing to sink my fingers into stuff right
Yeah.
now.
Don't do me like George R. R. Martin. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Oh, have you seen I'm not subscribed to it, but
Hmm.
the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, I think is what it's called by J.R. Ward.
Okay, so I've read the books. Is
Did you?
a yes.
Okay. So they have filmed the series and it's put out on Passion Flicks. So that
Okay.
way they can actually put like the romance and other scenes and things
Oh,
in
okay,
it so
okay.
they can have that. Um but the there's videos on that's been on like TikTok and you get to see J.R. Ward meet the main characters from the cast. And like there's one character that she meets and she just starts crying because
Oh,
like he
really?
looks exactly like the
How she
person.
imagined him. Okay.
Hmm. And
That's
so
cool.
that's what I've heard from like everybody who's because I've only read a couple of the first ones. I haven't read the whole
Yeah.
thing, but everybody that I know who's read it was like they look like they were the exact people that she wrote about.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
mhm.
cool. I do like that series. I haven't I think there's some new books out that I haven't read yet, because I went on a grand tour of other places.
Yeah.
But I do like that series because I think my favorite one is it Zayden? Zayden and Bella or Z? I think they call him Z. But it and they end up having the baby at the end.
Oh.
But basically he's like the hardest one there, like tortured, and but then it ends up that he was like a slave for a really long time, and
Mhm.
like so it is actually because she's like afraid of him at first, and then he's very sweet, very kind, and
Right.
very hard exterior, soft inside. So it's a
Yeah.
nice story. I
Yeah.
think it's Zayden Zay. It's
I
something
wonder if
Z.
that's the one that I just recently watched of me. I don't know. She met one of them, and I guess it's like everybody's favorite brother. And
Yeah,
so
he's bald. I know that he like
this guy
shaves
was
his
kind
head.
of bald. Hmm.
Yeah, he shaves his head, and I it's like the third or fourth book. That's what I remember, and I would just remember like, oh, this is actually a really nice book because
Hmm.
Wrath is the king, and
Hmm.
I know he's starting to go blind, and that's
Hmm.
part of the problem is like weakness. So, and they're hiding that, and then okay, I won't. As I'm talking, I'm remembering all of
Yeah.
that.
See, now we're gonna have to subscribe to Passion Flick so we can watch this series and talk about the series.
Yeah, but no,
That's so funny.
that's a good. I like her books.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really love her just as an author and as a person. She's
Mm-hmm.
so down to earth and she's like very straightforward. She doesn't mind cussing and like
Mm-hmm.
speaking her mind and all this thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's just such a fabulous person. But whenever you brought up the Project Runway, it reminded me of her because she's just
Mm-hmm.
got that big personality like them and
Mm-hmm.
then all that creativity in one person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I know.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so creative lately. I'm like, I just want to do everything and put out everything and touch everything and make everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I I keep getting like these little sparks, and then I don't know. I don't want to say it fizzles, but I just am like, and then the next thing. So I
Yep.
can't hold still very long.
Yeah, me either. I don't hold still long enough to make it through one project. I'm like, nope,
Mm-hmm.
we're just gonna kind of like diagonally run at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um, yeah, maybe we can talk about the in the next episode of this podcast, we'll talk about the uh Fourth Wing. I was like, what is it called? The Dragons. Fourth Wing. Yeah, maybe I'll finish the first one and then I'll try to get reading on the second one. So
Yeah. I just finished them. Like it was last week or yeah,
I
sometime.
better maybe that's what I was gonna look up. I better go reserve the audiobook before like to get my slot in line so I can get a
Yeah.
hold of it.
Yeah, jumping on Libby because um that's what happened is I requested it on Libby and then they all came available and I was like, let's finish within 21 days. So
Yep. Yeah.
Mm.
I know that's the hard part. Yeah, see like 49 copies are in use. Oh, but there's 0 people waiting, so
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah,
should get
grab it.
the audiobook too, which will be nice. Um
You could do both and just boop, boop, boop.
I know I'm like, where's the second one? I don't think it's on here. I'll
I
have to
think
look for it. Rebecca.
um
Well, I could we can sign off. Otherwise, like we'll just I'll sit here like
continue to talk and look and
looking for
research and be like, and then read this book.
yeah.
And I
So
have another recommendation for you.
uh-huh. I know.
Okay.
Sorry for the chaos, but we're having fun, people. We hope that you're following along with us and that you can keep up with us and our infatuation and love for books and shows and everything entertainment.
Yeah, thank you. And if there's any comments or anything you guys want us to look into or talk about, just comment below and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.